I observed that Anantimida, the full name of Anante, have been behaving a little bit strange since we came back from the forest. The Anante that I knew back then in the village used to be very shy and timid, but now she look and act in a very bold manner. It's as if the encounter that she had with the hourglass has changed her completely. I sensed that was what infused a strange boldness into her. When we left the forest and we were on the way back to the palace, I wanted to ask her that she should allow me to hold and admire the hourglass, but somehow I changed my mind. I don't know why. After she told the king that she knows what to do, King Elenpe, one of Ososanland, motioned to both of us to follow him to an inner room in his palace. This was where he kept both the hourglass and the book. When we got there, Anante said, "Your Highness, do I have your permission to go ahead and do what I sensed that I should do?" The king gave her a nod as a sign of approval. Anante then grabbed the hourglass and looked intensely at it for a few seconds. Suddenly, she flipped it over to the other side, placed it on the table, and moved back from the table. What happened next was very difficult to believe. Jolts of bright light just started coming out of the hourglass. At least I observed about 3 tranches, and as they were coming out, they were hitting Anante's body. After this, a strange green cloud with lightning suddenly appeared out of nowhere and enveloped her. Subsequently, her body started glowing as if it was emitting a golden light. At the onset, I and the king were so shocked that we momentarily froze on the same spot, but at this point, I started moving back from her, and the king, who seems to pick the signal, also draw back a little. Suddenly, rays of light started coming out of her eyes for a while, and this eventually gave way to her eyeball and set on fire. My mouth was suddenly wide open because of all that I was seeing. This is not the Anante that I know, I thought to myself. It was as if she heard my thought, because immediately she turned towards me, and in a way that I cannot explain, her body became multiplied into 5 parts. I was terrified by this and subsequently took many steps back from her. The king did the same. At this point, one of her eyes started emitting blazing red light. She then opened her mouth and said, "Your Highness, one of the function of the hourglass is to unveil hidden mysteries. The key that you seek for is in the hand of the 3rd king." King Elenpe screamed, "The 3rd king? In the kingdom of Oblafa? That's an ancient myth." The king continued by saying, "I remember hearing about a myth from my father concerning a great kingdom in ancient time called Oblafa. It was a kingdom ruled by 3 brothers who were born as triplets. Their love for one another made them to decide to rule the kingdom as kings. Your Highness, your father was very right," Anante replied. She continued and said, "The 3 kings entered into a covenant and swore an oath to remain bonded together forever. The demerit of the covenant and their eventual undoing has to do with the oath which they swore to one another. They said that if anything happened to one of them, it should affect the other 2 also. Unfortunately, one of them went on a hunting expenditure, and among the animals killed was a very beautiful-looking snake. Although its head was almost severed off, but as this king touched the snake, the head suddenly came alive and bite him. The venom took effect immediately, and despite the fact that many medications were given, he did not survive it. He was brought back dead. The kingdom mourned his demise, but much more is the naked reality that the days of the 2 others kings are numbered. This brought great sorrow to the kingdom. As a way of helping them, one of their wise men gave a key to the remaining 2 kings. It was meant to open the door of the 5-branch tree in the forbidden forest. Inside this tree, he said they will find the antidote to the venom. The 3rd king volunteered to go while the 2nd king stayed back to manage kingdom affairs. He went and came back, but by the time he got back, the 2nd king was dead too. The pain of bereavement made him to decide not to take the antidote, but to join his other 2 brothers in the afterlife. Your Highness, once I give you the approval, you will touch the hourglass and be transported into the spirit world, where you will commence a journey to get the key and the antidote from the hand of the 3rd king." As Anante was speaking, one of her eyes kept beaming red light. Sometimes it will blink on and off. Immediately, you are transported from here. You will land in a room and see 2 gourds. One is green and fresh while the other is dry and broken up. Take the 2 of them. It's very important because that is the currency of the realm where you are going to. Once you come out of the room, you will suddenly find yourself on a road, and in the midst of the road, you will see the 6 witches of Oblafa. They were 7 before, but my father killed one of them. That is a story for another day. Once you see them, offer them the green gourd before they speak to you. They will deliberate among themselves for a few minutes, and one of them will offer you some apples that have been partly eaten. The apples are poisoned and enchanted. In a strange way, you will greatly desire to eat it, but please don't eat it. If you take a bite, you will die in the spirit world and be eaten by them. If you look towards the left side of their huts, you will see piles of human bones of men that have succumbed to the temptation. After threatening you that unless you eat it, they will not allow you to go, and you maintain your stand, one of them will show you the way. Once you set out from the coven of the 6 witches of Oblafa and walk for a while, you will meet a man called the guardian of the entrance of Oblafa. He will appear to you as a tall man that is dark in complexion and have a staff in his hand. Although he loved taking up the appearance of a man, he is a flesh-eating beast. Your Highness, please ensure that you greet him. Afterwards, ask him for the direction to the palace of the 3rd king. By default, he will mislead you. If he point to the right, please follow the left. The path that he point to lead to a dead end, and many that follow that path have always been his victim. A sign that will show you that you are on the right way is the fact that you will see 2 animals on either side of the right path. One is a gazelle, and the other is a wolf. They are there to show the harmony that exists in their kingdom. Just greet them and proceed, walking through their midst. At the end of the road, you will see a waterfall, and by the side of the waterfall is the palace of the 3rd king. The place have now been taken over by the animals. After the death of the 3 kings of Oblafa, a strange sickness spread through the land, and it's only those who departed from the land that did not die. This led to the kingdom being desolate, and naturally animals came to inhabit it. The palace of the 3 kings of Oblafa is surrounded by waters. When the animals took over, they took a decision that the kingship rule will be by rotation. This year it is the zebra that is the ruling king. Your Highness, once you enter, do not bow to the zebra king because kings don't bow down to kings. Simply bring out the 2nd guard, show them, and take it back. Afterwards, you will see 2 sets of graven images, one on the right and the other on the left. Do not go for the door with 3 heads facing you. Only go to the one in which you see 2 heads looking back and only 1 head facing you. Once you touch the head of the only one facing you, you will be transported to the throne's room where the skeletons of the 3 kings are. Just walk past the 2 kings and go to the 3rd king. Once you take the antidote, the door that leads to where the key is will also open. Take the key also and walk out of the palace immediately. When you do this, you will be spiritually transported by a whirlwind far away from the palace there to a path where you will see a big snake on the road. That snake is the guardian of the way out of Oblafa. In a hurry, throw the dry and broken gourd at the snake. The snake will eat it and disappear. After that, just shout my name with a loud voice. I will hear over here and touch the hourglass again. Once I do that, you will appear here in the palace. Your Highness, please abide by what I reveal to you. A simple mistake can lead to great consequences out there.